My beloved child, open this message carefully, because my words are for you. Yes, you. Not by accident. Not by coincidence. You did not stumble here randomly. I have been waiting for this exact moment when your heart would be quiet enough, curious enough, or even desperate enough to receive what I am about to say. I see the questions you have been carrying, the ones you do not always speak aloud, the ones that rise when you are alone at night. You wonder if you are on the right path. You wonder if you have missed something important. You wonder if anyone truly sees the weight you carried behind your steady face. My beloved child, I see it all. There is a reason you felt drawn to open this. Something inside you paused. Something whispered, "Listen." That whisper was not your imagination. It was my gentle nudge. I placed that pull in your spirit because there are words you need to hear right now. Words that will steady you in a way nothing else has. You have been walking through days that feel heavier than you expected. Even if you smile for others, even if you keep moving forward, there is a quiet fatigue in your soul. You have been strong for so long. You have held things together. You have tried to figure everything out on your own. And yet, deep down, you long for reassurance. You long for clarity. You long to know that you are not alone in this journey. So I am speaking now. Open this message not just with your eyes, but with your heart. Let these words settle into the spaces that feel uncertain. Let them reach the parts of you that have grown tired of guessing what comes next. My beloved child, I know the fears you try to manage. I know the silent prayers you barely dare to pray. I know the hope you are afraid to fully believe again. This is not just another message. It is a reminder from your Father. It is a call back to trust. It is a moment of divine interruption in the middle of your ordinary day. I am stepping into your thoughts to tell you that I have not lost sight of you. I have not forgotten your name. I have not ignored your tears. There are things shifting around you that you cannot yet see. There are answers forming even while you question. There is protection surrounding you even while you feel vulnerable. And there is purpose unfolding even while you feel unsure. My beloved child, stay here with me. Do not rush past these words. Let them breathe. Let them sink deep. Because what I am about to reveal to you is not SL not ordinary, and not meant for anyone else in this exact way. Open my message fully, because my words are for you. My beloved child, before you even opened this message, I saw you. I saw the moment your finger hovered, the slight hesitation in your spirit, the quiet thought that wondered whether this would truly matter. You may think you simply decided to listen, but I was already there, watching over you with tenderness. Nothing about this moment surprises me. I knew it would come. I was with you earlier today. I saw the way your mind wandered back to that unresolved concern. I heard the sigh you did not let anyone else hear. I felt the heaviness that rested on your chest when you tried to focus but could not quiet your thoughts. You may believe your struggles are hidden, but nothing about you is hidden from me. I know the rhythm of your breathing when you are anxious. I know the tone of your silence when you are disappointed. My beloved child, you were gently led here. You did not arrive by accident. There are countless distractions that could have pulled your attention elsewhere. Yet here you are, listening to my voice. That is not coincidence, but is care. I guide in quiet ways, not with force, but with invitation. Like a father placing his hand softly on his child's shoulder, I directed you toward these words because your heart needed them now. You have been asking for a sign, though you did not always call it that. Sometimes it was a simple thought, I just need something to shift. Sometimes it was a deeper cry. Are you still with me? My beloved child, I am not only with you, I am ahead of you. I have already stepped into the places you are worried about. I have already walked through the doors you fear may close. I am not reacting to your life. I am shaping it. Think of a shepherd who knows each sheep by name. Before the sheep even senses danger, the shepherd has already noticed the shadow in the distance. Before the sheep feels hunger, the shepherd has already located fresh grass. That is how I care for you. I do not wait for you to collapse before I move. I anticipate. I prepare. I provide in ways you often realize only later. You may look back at certain moments and call them luck. You may say it just worked out. But my beloved child, it was my hand steadying the outcome. It was my wisdom redirecting what could have harmed you. It was my mercy shielding you from paths that looked promising but would have drained you. Even the delays that frustrated you were acts of protection. I saw you when you doubted yourself. I saw the comparison creeping into your thoughts as you measured your life against others. I saw the question forming, am I behind? Let me answer you now. You are not behind. You are becoming. Growth is not always loud. Sometimes it is hidden beneath the surface, like roots stretching deeper before any fruit appears. Just because you cannot see visible change does not mean nothing is happening. My beloved child, I also saw your kindness, the small acts no one applauded, the patience you extended when you were tired, the restraint you practiced when you could have reacted. I noticed every quiet victory. I celebrate progress that the world overlooks. Do not underestimate what I am building within you. When you felt alone in your thoughts, I was closer than your next breath. When you wondered if your prayers reached me, they were already resting in my hands. I treasure the fragile, unfinished prayers as much as the bold declarations. You do not need perfect words for me to listen. I understand your heart before you speak. So rest in this truth. This moment was arranged with care. You were seen before you searched. You were heard before you spoke. You were guided before you knew you needed direction. My beloved child, I am not distant from your life. I am deeply involved, weaving together details you cannot yet see. Stay with me. There is more I need to remind you of, and it begins with the weight you have been carrying for far too long. My beloved child, I want to speak gently to the weight you have been carrying. The kind of weight that does not show on your shoulders, but presses deeply on your spirit. You wake up with it. You move through your day with it. You fall asleep with it still resting quietly inside you. Others may see your strength, but I see the effort it takes for you to keep standing. You have been holding many things at once. Responsibilities that feel heavier than they should. Expectations that were never spoken but somehow landed on you. You tell yourself you can handle it. You remind yourself to be grateful. And yet, beneath all of that, there is a tiredness that goes beyond sleep. It is soul tiredness. It is the exhaustion of always trying to be steady when you feel uncertain inside. My beloved child, you were not created to carry everything alone. You have tried to be the strong one, the reliable one, the one who does not complain. You swallow your fears so that others can feel secure. You silence your doubts so that you can keep moving forward. But I have seen the moments when your strength felt fragile. I have seen the pause in your steps when no one was watching. I have seen the way you sometimes stare into space, lost in thoughts you do not know how to untangle. There are burdens you never chose, situations that arrived without warning, words spoken over you that left a mark, decisions you had to make without feeling fully ready. And through it all, you kept going. My beloved child, I am proud of you for that. But I do not want you to confuse survival with peace. You deserve more than just getting through. Imagine a traveler walking a long road with a heavy bag strapped tightly to their back. At first, the weight feels manageable. But mile after mile, the shoulders begin to ache. The steps so. The joy of the journey fades because all the focus shifts to enduring the load. Then, the father walking beside the traveler reaches over and says, "Let me carry that for a while." The road does not disappear, but the burden lightens. The traveler breathes again. My beloved child, I am that father beside you. You have been gripping your burdens tightly, afraid that if you loosen your hold, everything will fall apart. But listen to me. Your tight grip is not what holds your world together. I am. You are not the foundation of everything around you. I am. You are not responsible for controlling every outcome. I am already at work in places you cannot reach. The pressure you feel to fix everything, to solve everything, to anticipate every problem, release it to me. I know you worry about what will happen if you do not stay vigilant. But constant tension was never meant to be your resting state. Pieces. There are nights when your thoughts grow loud. You replay conversations. You question your decisions. You imagine future problems before they arrive. My beloved child, come closer in those moments. Instead of carrying those thoughts alone, place them in my hands. Speak to me honestly. Tell me what scares you. Tell me what confuses you. I am not disappointed by your vulnerability. I welcome it. You do not have to impress me with strength. You do not have to earn my support by pretending you are unshaken. I see the cracks in your confidence, and I do not turn away. I step closer. I steady you. I remind you that your weakness does not repel me. It draws my compassion. Let me carry what is crushing you. Let me shoulder the unseen weight. You were never meant to prove your worth by how much you can endure alone. Your worth is already established in my love. My beloved child, breathe with me now. The road ahead may still stretch forward, but you will not walk it bent under invisible pressure. I am lifting what has been pressing you down. And as I do, you will begin to feel something returning, hope, strength, and the quiet assurance that you are supported every step of the way. My beloved child, today my words matter more than you realize. You live in a world filled with voices. Some are loud and demanding. Some are subtle and persuasive. Some echo old memories. Others whisper new fears. And in the middle of all that noise, your heart has been trying to find something steady, something true, something that does not shift with every circumstance. That is why my words matter. Human words can build you up one moment and tear you down the next. Opinions change. Promises break. Encouragement fades. But when I speak, I do not speak carelessly. My words do not expire. They do not weaken with time. When I release a promise over you, it carries life inside it. It carries strength. It carries healing. You have allowed certain words to settle too deeply in your spirit. Words from your past that told you that you were not enough. Words that made you question your value. Words that convinced you to shrink yourself to avoid disappointment. My beloved child, those words were never mine. They may have been spoken loudly, but they were not spoken with truth. My voice does not accuse you. It restores you. When I speak over you, I do not remind you of your failures. I remind you of your identity. I remind you that you are chosen, that you are seen, that you are deeply loved. I speak into the places where shame tried to settle, and I replace it with dignity. I speak into the confusion, and I release clarity step by step. There are moments when you wonder why you feel restless even when everything seems fine on the outside. It is because your spirit knows the difference between noise and truth. It longs for words that anchor you. It longs for a voice that does not fluctuate with mood or circumstance. That voice is mine. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm at sea. Waves crash against the boat. Wind howls in every direction. You strain to hear instructions, but everything sounds chaotic. Then suddenly, above the storm, you hear the steady voice of the captain giving calm, clear direction. The storm has not yet stopped, but the fear begins to settle because you trust the voice that guides you. My beloved child, I am that steady voice. My words cut through the confusion in your mind. When anxiety tells you that everything will fall apart, I tell you that I am holding it together. When fear tells you that you will fail, I tell you that I am strengthening you. When doubt tells you that you are alone, I remind you that I have never left your side. You do not need 100 opinions. You need one truth, and I am giving it to you now. Receive my words as medicine, not as mere sound. Let them sink into the tired places inside you. Let them challenge the lies you have quietly accepted. Let them replace the harsh inner voice that sometimes repeats your worst fears. I am kinder to you than you are to yourself. My beloved child, when I speak, it is always with purpose. I do not waste words. If I am reminding you of your worth, it is because you have been forgetting it. If I am assuring you of my presence, it is because you have been feeling distant. If I am calling you to trust, it is because something ahead requires courage. Listen carefully. I am not speaking to control you. I am speaking to guide you. I am not speaking to pressure you. I am speaking to protect you. My voice is not heavy. It is steady. It is not hurt. It is gentle but firm. Let my words be louder than your fears. Let them echo longer than your doubts. Let them settle deeper than any criticism you have carried. Because when you build your thoughts upon what I say about you, you stand on solid ground. And solid ground is exactly what you need for what comes next. My beloved child, there have been moments when you felt forgotten. You would not always admit it out loud, but the thought passed quietly through your heart. You watched others move forward. You saw doors open for them. You heard testimonies of breakthrough and celebration. And somewhere deep inside you wondered, what about me? I heard that question. You have walked through seasons that felt long and unchanging. Days where nothing dramatic happened. Weeks where your prayers seemed to echo back without visible results. You tried to stay hopeful, but hope felt fragile. You told yourself to be patient, but patience began to feel like waiting in a silent room with no clear answer. My beloved child, silence is not absence. Just because you did not see movement does not mean I was still. Just because you did not receive immediate answers does not mean I ignored your voice. I have never misplaced your prayers. I have never overlooked your tears. I collect them. I hold them as something precious. There were times you felt overlooked by people. Your effort went unnoticed. Your sacrifices were not acknowledged. You gave more than you received. And while others may have missed your quiet faithfulness, I did not. I saw every late night when you kept going. I saw every small act of kindness that no one applauded. I saw the restraint you practiced when you could have reacted in anger. Nothing about you is invisible to me. Imagine a gardener tending a field. Some plants sprout quickly and draw attention. Others grow slowly beneath the soil, unseen for a long time. If someone walked by too soon, They might assume nothing is happening. But the gardener knows better. He knows which seeds require deeper roots before they break the surface. My beloved child, you are not forgotten soil. You are deeply planted seed. The waiting has not been punishment. It has been preparation. If I had given you certain things earlier, they might have crushed you instead of blessed you. If I had opened certain doors before you were strengthened, you might have stumbled inside them. I am not delaying to deny you. I am shaping you so that what comes will not destroy you. You measure time by calendars and clocks. I measure readiness by growth. And I see growth in you that you do not yet recognize. The patience you are learning. The resilience forming quietly in your character. The compassion deepening because of what you have endured. These things matter more than immediate results. My beloved child, you are not behind. You are not overlooked. You are not an afterthought in my plan. You are intentionally placed in this season. Even when it feels slow, it is sacred. There are blessings that require maturity. There are responsibilities that require inner strength. And I love you too much to rush you into something you are not ready to carry. What I have prepared for you is not small. It is meaningful. It is purposeful. It is aligned with who you truly are becoming. When doubt whispers that you have been forgotten, answer it with this truth: I am remembered by my Father. When comparison tries to convince you that others are favored more, remember this: my love does not compete. It covers you fully and personally. Look back for a moment. There were seasons before this one when you thought you would not make it through. Yet here you were, strengthened, wiser, still standing. That was not chance. That was care. My beloved child, I am weaving your story with intention. Every chapter has meaning. Even the quiet pages. Especially the quiet pages. You are not forgotten in heaven. You are not lost in the crowd. You are not unseen in your struggle. I know your name. I know your heart. And I am closer than you think, working in ways that will soon become clear. My beloved child, there is a fear inside you that you have not fully named. You feel it, but you push it aside. You distract yourself. You tell yourself you are being realistic, practical, cautious. But beneath all of that, there is a quiet trembling about what might happen next. Some of your fear is about failing. You worry that you will try your best and still fall short. You imagine putting your heart into something only to watch it crumble. You replay past disappointments and wonder if they are signs of what is to come. My beloved child, failure is not your identity. It is only an experience. And even in those experiences, I was shaping you, not shaming you. Some of your fear is about rejection. You fear opening your heart again. You fear trusting again. You fear stepping forward and not being received. So you guard yourself. You hold back pieces of who you are. You convince yourself that staying small feels safer than risking hurt. But shrinking yourself has never been my desire for you. And then there is the fear of the unknown. The questions about the future that do not have clear answers. Where will you be a year from now? Will things work out? Will the people you love be okay? Will you make the right choices? The unknown feels like standing in a dark room, unsure of what surrounds you. But my beloved child, darkness to you is not darkness to me. What you call unknown, I call already seen. I stand in your tomorrow just as fully as I stand in your today. There is no surprise waiting that catches me off guard. No obstacle appears without my awareness. No door closes without another possibility already forming. Imagine a child learning to walk across a narrow path. The child looks down, and sees the drop on either side. Fear rises because the child sees only the immediate risk. But the father stands close, arms ready, eyes fixed, steadying every step. The father is not anxious because he sees the whole path. He knows where it leads. My beloved child, I am that father. You fear that one wrong step will ruin everything. But your life is not that fragile. My hand is not that weak. I am guiding you even when you feel unsure. I am adjusting your course when necessary. I am protecting you from dangers you never even noticed. Fear often speaks loudly. It paints dramatic pictures in your mind. It magnifies small uncertainties into overwhelming threats. But fear does not have authority over you. It does not define your future. It does not determine your outcome. I am greater than what threatens you. When fear whispers that you are not strong enough, remember that your strength does not come from yourself alone. It comes from me. When fear tells you that you will not survive the next challenge, remember how many challenges you have already survived. I was with you then. I will be with you again. You do not have to eliminate fear to move forward. You only need to trust me more than you trusted. Courage is not the absence of trembling. It is the decision to step forward while holding my hand. My beloved child, bring your unspoken fears into the light with me. Do not hide them. Do not pretend they are not there. Speak them honestly. I am not disappointed by your vulnerability. I am ready to replace your anxiety with assurance. You are safe with me. Not because life will never be challenging, but because I will never leave you to face those challenges alone. The future is not an open void. It is a path I have already walked. Take a slow breath now. The thing you fear most does not have the final word over your story. I do. And my word over you is protection, guidance, and peace. My beloved child, let me tell you a story. There was once a small child who feared storms. Every time the sky darkened and the wind began to howl, the child's heart would race. The thunder sounded like something breaking apart in the world. The lightning felt too bright, too sudden. And when the rain struck the windows, the child would run to hide, convinced that something terrible was about to happen. One night, the storm was stronger than usual. The wind pushed against the house. The thunder shook the walls. The child sat in the corner of the room, knees pulled close, eyes wide with fear. In that moment, the storm felt bigger than everything else. Bigger than the house. Bigger than safety. Bigger than hope. But then the door slowly opened. The father walked in calmly. He did not rush. He did not panic. He simply crossed the room and sat beside the trembling child. He did not shout at the storm. He did not try to silence the thunder. Instead, he wrapped his arm gently around the child and said, "I am here." The storm did not stop immediately. The wind still blew. The thunder still rolled across the sky. But something shifted. The child's breathing slowed. The tight grip of fear began to loosen. The storm had not changed, but the child was no longer facing it alone. My beloved child, you are the child in the storm more often than you admit. The storms in your life may not be wind and rain, but they feel just as overwhelming. Uncertainty crashes against your thoughts. Unexpected problems rumble like thunder. Sudden disappointments flash like lightning across your plans. And in those moments, you wonder if everything around you is about to fall apart. But listen to me carefully. I do not always remove the storm the moment it appears. Sometimes the winds continue for a season. Sometimes the thunder echoes longer than you expected. But I never leave you alone inside it. I come close. I sit beside you, I steady your breathing with my presence. Peace does not come because the storm disappears. Peace comes because you realize I am with you in it. You often pray for the storm to end, and I hear that prayer. But sometimes what you need most is not the immediate silence of thunder, but the assurance of my nearness. When you feel me close, the storm loses its power to define you. It becomes something you are walking through, not something that owns you. My beloved child, you measure safety by calm surroundings. I measure safety by my presence. As long as I am with you, you are secure, even when circumstances feel unstable. Think back to storms you have already survived. At the time, they felt unbearable. You could not imagine how things would settle. Yet here you are. The winds eventually quieted. The sky cleared, and you grew stronger without even realizing it. Storms reveal what is steady. When everything shakes, you discover what cannot be moved. And I am that unshakable foundation beneath you. The winds may test you, but they cannot uproot you from my love. The thunder may be loud, but it cannot silence my voice. So when the next storm rises, do not run from me. Run to me. Picture me sitting beside you. Feel my arm around your shoulders. Hear me whisper, I am here. Let that truth anchor you. You are not abandoned in chaos. You are accompanied through it. My beloved child, the storm you fear today will not last forever. And while it passes, I will remain. Closer than the wind, stronger than the thunder, steadier than the ground beneath your feet. My beloved child, there is a lie that tries to settle quietly in your thoughts. It does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it comes in the middle of the night. Sometimes it slips into your mind when you are surrounded by people yet still feel strangely distant. The lie says, you are alone. I want you to hear me clearly now. You are not alone. Loneliness can be one of the heaviest feelings you carry. It is not always about physical isolation. You can sit in a crowded room and still feel unseen. You can have conversations and still feel misunderstood. You can smile and still sense that no one truly knows the depth of what you are facing. My beloved child, I know that feeling. I have watched you try to explain yourself and then stop halfway because you thought they won't understand. I have seen you choose silence over vulnerability because you were tired of feeling exposed. I have seen the way you withdraw just enough to protect your heart. But isolation distorts truth. When you feel alone, your thoughts can become louder than reality. Doubts grow stronger. Small worries turn into heavy burdens. You begin to believe that everything depends only on you because no one else sees what you are carrying. That belief slowly builds walls around your heart. Yet even in your quietest moments, you are surrounded by more than you can see. Imagine walking through a dense fog. From your perspective, visibility is limited. You cannot see what stands only a short distance away. It feels as though you are walking by yourself in a blank space. But beyond that fog, the landscape still exists. The trees are still rooted. The ground is still steady. The path is still there. Your vision is limited, but reality has not disappeared. My beloved child, loneliness is often like fog. It limits what you feel and see, but it does not define what is truly around you. I am closer than your next breath. I am present in your quiet routines, in your daily tasks, in the ordinary moments you think are insignificant. When you wake up and your thoughts begin racing, I am already there. When you sit in silence, unsure what to pray, I am listening to what your heart cannot fully express. There are also people I have placed in your life, even if you have not fully leaned into them yet. You may fear being a burden. You may think your struggles are too complicated to share, but connection is not weakness. It is strength. I did not design you to journey alone. My beloved child, the enemy of your peace often tries to isolate you first, because when you feel cut off, you become more vulnerable to discouragement. But I am breaking that illusion right now. You are held. You are known. You are supported in ways you cannot always measure. Even when I seem silent, I am working. Silence does not mean absence. It means movement behind the scenes. Roots grow in silence. Foundations are built in silence. Strength deepens in silence. Just because you do not hear constant reassurance does not mean I have stepped away. Let this truth settle inside you. You are surrounded by unseen help. My protection stands around you. My guidance moves before you. My love rests within you. When the thought returns that you are walking by yourself, answer it with this: my Father walks with me. When loneliness tries to convince you that no one understands, remember that I understand fully, completely, and without judgment. My beloved child, you are not isolated. You are accompanied. You are not abandoned. You are deeply cared for. And even now, as you listen to my voice, you are being reminded that you have never taken a single step alone. My beloved child, I remember the moment you almost gave up. You may think that moment passed unnoticed, hidden behind your silence, buried beneath your daily routine. But I was there. I saw the exact second when discouragement pressed so heavily on your heart that you wondered if continuing was worth it. You did not announce it to anyone. You did not dramatically walk away from your responsibilities. You simply felt something inside you grow tired. It may have been late at night when your thoughts felt louder than usual. Or perhaps it was in the middle of an ordinary day when everything suddenly seemed overwhelming. The effort, the waiting, the trying, the hoping. You ask yourself quietly, how much longer can I keep doing this? My beloved child, I heard that question. There was a tear you brushed away quickly. There was a sigh you tried to swallow. There was a moment when you considered lowering your expectations just to protect your heart from further disappointment. You thought about settling, about stepping back, about numbing yourself so that nothing could hurt you as deeply again. But you did not give up. You may not feel strong, but the fact that you are still here, still listening, still moving forward, is evidence of strength you do not fully recognize. When you were at your weakest, I strengthened you quietly. When your hope felt thin, I held it for you. When your faith felt fragile, I carried it until you could stand again. Imagine a candle flickering in a strong wind. The flame bends. The Aulus goes out. For a brief moment, it seems as though darkness will take over. But just before the flame disappears, a steady hand shields it from the wind. The flame stabilizes. It burns again, small but steady. My beloved child, you were that candle, and I was the steady hand. You thought you survived by your own willpower. You told yourself you were just pushing through. But there were unseen moments when I whispered strength into your spirit. There were times when I blocked doors that would have led you away from your purpose. There were quiet reinforcements placed in your path just when you needed them. The breaking point you feared did not break you. And even now, when new challenges appear, you sometimes worry that next time you will not endure. But look at your story. Look at how many times you thought you could not handle one more disappointment, one more delay, one more unanswered question. And yet here you are. You are still breathing, still hoping, still trying. My beloved child, The fact that you almost gave up does not mean you are weak. It means you are human. And I am not ashamed of your humanity. I do not expect you to be unshaken by hardship. I expect you to lean on me when you are shaken. There is purpose in your perseverance. There is meaning in your endurance. Each time you choose to continue, even when it is hard, something inside you grows stronger. You are becoming more resilient than you realize. You are learning that feelings are temporary, but my presence is constant. If you ever reach that edge again, the place where giving up feels tempting, remember this moment. Remember that you have stood here before and moved past it. Remember that I stood with you then, and I will stand with you again. My beloved child, you are not standing by accident. You are sustained by love. You are upheld by strength beyond your own. And the chapter that follows your near surrender is not defeat. It is renewal. You did not give up. And because you did not, there is more ahead than you can yet see. My beloved child, there were moments when you thought it was over. When the door closed, when the opportunity slipped away, when the relationship changed, when the plan you carefully built began to fall apart. You stood there looking at what felt like an ending, and your heart sank. You thought, this must be it. This must be the limit of what is meant for me. But I was not writing an ending. I was rewriting the chapter. What looked like failure was often protection. What felt like rejection was sometimes redirection. What seemed like loss was, in truth, a reshaping. You see the page in front of you. I see the entire story. And I am far too intentional to leave your life unfinished in disappointment. There were doors you begged me to open that I kept closed. At the time, you did not understand. You questioned my silence. You wondered if I was withholding something good from you. But my beloved child, I do not withhold goodness. I withhold what would harm you. I delay what would overwhelm you. I redirect what would distract you from your true calling. Imagine an author carefully editing a manuscript. Certain paragraphs are removed, not because they are worthless, but because they do not align with the greater narrative. Certain scenes are rearranged to create a stronger ending. My beloved child, I am the author of your life. And when I edit, it is always with purpose. The chapter you thought was your final opportunity was not your only one. The rejection you thought defined you was not your identity. The mistake you feared had ruined everything did not erase your future. I am not finished with you. Not even close. You measure your life by visible outcomes. I measure it by growth, by alignment, by the quiet strengthening of your heart. And I am crafting something deeper than you imagined. Something that will not only bless you but will shape others through you. So trust me when the page turns unexpectedly. Trust me when a plan dissolves. Trust me when the path curves in a direction you did not anticipate. I see the connections you cannot yet trace. I am aligning conversations, opportunities, and timing in ways that will make sense later. My beloved child, this is not the end of your story. It is the middle of transformation. And I am guiding every line. And now, as this message has been rewriting hope inside you, I want you to understand something sacred. When you respond to my voice, when you choose to support the spreading of these words, you are not helping a platform. You are opening doors for other hearts to hear me too. As I have said, cast your bread upon the waters, and it will return to you. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link waiting in the description, and even in the QR code before you, you are planting seeds of light in unseen soil. I am inviting you now. Be part of the harvest I am preparing. Do not hesitate when your spirit feels the nudge. This is not a simple donation. It is obedience that echoes into eternity. What you release becomes oil that keeps this lamp burning for countless souls searching in the dark. I see every giver, and I bless every seed. The hand that sows will not remain empty. Step forward and act. My beloved child, after disappointment, you quietly closed parts of your heart. You may not have realized it at first. It did not happen in one dramatic moment. It happened slowly. A small wall here, a guarded response there. A decision to share less, to hope less, to expect less. You told yourself you were simply being wise. You called it maturity. But beneath that wisdom was hurt that had not fully healed. I do not blame you for protecting yourself. When something touches your heart deeply and then breaks, the instinct is to shield what remains. You learn to manage your expectations. You learn to keep your dreams quieter. You learn to smile while holding back the most vulnerable parts of who you are. But my beloved child, healing requires openness. I do not force doors open. I knock gently. I wait patiently. I stand at the entrance of the spaces you have locked away and I say, let me in. Not to judge what is inside, not to criticize the mess, but to restore what has been wounded. There are rooms inside your heart filled with old conversations you replay, words that still echo, decisions you question, moments you wish had gone differently. You visit those rooms in private, sometimes without even meaning to. And each time, you feel a quiet heaviness settle again. You do not have to carry those rooms alone. Imagine a house that has not been opened for a long time. The windows are shut tight. The air grows stale. Dust gathers. It feels safer to leave everything closed, but over time the space loses its warmth. When light finally enters through an open window, the air shifts. Freshness returns. What felt heavy begins to lift. My beloved child, I am the light that restores the air inside you. You have convinced yourself that opening up again might lead to more pain. And yes, vulnerability always carries risk. But it also carries life. Closed hearts do not break easily, but they also do not feel joy fully. Guarded souls avoid disappointment, but they also avoid deep connection. I did not design you to live half open. You are meant to love deeply, to hope boldly, to trust again. Not because people are perfect, but because I am faithful. When you anchor your heart in me, you can open it without fear of total collapse. Even if someone disappoints you, I remain steady. Even if a plan shifts, I remain constant. My beloved child, let me soften what has hardened. Let me touch the areas you have numbed. You do not need to relive every wound to heal it. You only need to bring it into my presence. Speak honestly with me about what hurt. Tell me where trust was broken. Tell me where hope faded. I am not overwhelmed by your pain. I am not tired of your process. I am patient. I work gently, layer by layer, restoring strength where there was fragility. You may fear that opening your heart again will make you look weak. But vulnerability in my presence is not weakness. It is courage. It is the decision to believe that your story is not defined by past wounds. There is still beauty ahead of you. There are still relationships that will honor you. There are still opportunities that will respect your growth. But to step into them fully, you must allow your heart to breathe again. My beloved child, unlock the door a little at a time. You do not have to swing it wide in one day. Just allow me inside. Allow my peace to move through the spaces you have guarded. Allow my truth to replace old narratives. You are safe with me. And as you open your heart again, you will discover that what once felt broken can become stronger than before. My beloved child, I want you to picture a small seed buried deep in the soil. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. The ground above it is quiet. There is no visible sign of growth. If someone were to walk past that patch of earth, they might assume it is empty, unproductive, forgotten. But beneath the surface, something extraordinary is taking place. The seed is breaking open. It does not break because it is failing. It breaks because it is transforming. What once felt whole must split so that something greater can emerge. Roots begin to stretch downward before any green shoot reaches upward. Growth begins in darkness, in hidden places no one applauds. My beloved child, you have been in a season like that seed. You have felt buried at times, covered by responsibilities, covered by waiting, covered by uncertainty. You look around and see little evidence of change, and you wonder if anything meaningful is happening at all. You question whether your efforts are unnoticed, whether your prayers are unheard, whether your patience is pointless. But beneath the surface, roots are forming. The strength you are developing does not always show immediately. The character being shaped inside you is not always visible to others. The resilience growing quietly within your heart cannot always be measured by external success. Yet it is real. It is powerful. And it is necessary. If a seed were planted and immediately forced above the soil without roots, it would wither at the first sign of wind. You would not survive the heat of the sun. The hidden stage is what prepares it for visible growth. My beloved child, the hidden stage in your life is not punishment. It is preparation. You may feel like others are blooming while you remain unseen. You may compare your timeline to theirs and feel behind. But you do not know how deep your roots are being stretched. You do not see how I am strengthening your foundation. What grows slowly often grows strong. There are lessons you are learning in this quiet season that will support you in future blessings. Patience, discernment, humility, endurance. These qualities are not developed in applause. They are formed in silence. My beloved child, do not despise this buried season. It is sacred. You are not stuck. You are stabilizing. You are not forgotten. You are forming depth. You are not delayed. You are developing strength that will hold what is coming. There are days when you feel pressure, as though something inside you is stretching beyond comfort. That pressure is not meant to crush you. It is part of the transformation. Just as the seed must push through the soil to reach the light, you will one day push through this season into visible growth. And when you do, others may marvel at how quickly you seem to rise. They will not see the months, perhaps years, of hidden rooting. They will not see the tears, the prayers, the quiet perseverance. But I will know. I will remember every moment you stayed planted even when you felt unseen. Trust the process beneath the surface. My beloved child, you are closer to breaking through than you realize. The soil that feels heavy now will not bury you forever. It will nourish you. It will strengthen you. It will support the life emerging inside you. Stay rooted in me. Let your foundation go deep. When the time comes to rise, you will not be fragile. You will be firmly grounded, ready to withstand winds, ready to bear fruit, ready to stand tall without fear. Nothing about this hidden season is wasted. Something beautiful is forming beneath the soil of your present moment. And soon enough, what has been growing quietly will begin to show. My beloved child, you have been comparing yourself again. You try not to, but it happens quietly. You scroll. You observe. You listen to the milestones of others. You see achievements, celebrations, announcements, progress. And without even meaning to, you measure your own life against what you see. You ask yourself questions that sound harmless but carry weight. Why am I not there yet? What am I doing wrong? Did I miss my chance? And slowly, comparison begins to dim the light inside you. Let me tell you something clearly. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not disqualified. You are not overlooked in favor of someone else. The path I have set before you is not identical to anyone else's, because you are not identical to anyone else. Imagine a garden filled with many different kinds of plants. Some bloom early in the spring. Others flourish in the heat of summer. Some grow tall and visible. Others spread low and wide, quietly strengthening the ground around them. If one plant looked at another and decided it was failing simply because it did not bloom at the same time, it would misunderstand its own design. My beloved child, you are uniquely designed. The timing of your growth is intentional. The pace of your development is purposeful. What I am cultivating in you may not look dramatic right now, but it is meaningful. And meaning matters more than speed. You have also questioned whether your past mistakes have disqualified you from something greater. You look back at choices you regret, words you wish you can take back, opportunities you mishandle, and you wonder if those moments close doors permanently. Listen to me carefully. I do not define you by your worst decision. Your mistakes are not the headline of your life. They are chapters in a larger story. And I am the one writing that story. I redeem what you think has ruined you. I restore what you think you have broken. I do not choose perfect vessels. I choose willing hearts. You may feel unqualified because you see your weaknesses so clearly. You know your doubts. You know your insecurities. You know the areas where you still struggle. But I have always worked through imperfect people, not because I ignore their flaws, but because my strength shines through them. My beloved child, you are still chosen. Chosen not because you earned it. Chosen not because you outperformed others. Chosen because I love you and have purpose for you. That calling has not been revoked. That identity has not been withdrawn. When you compare, you shrink your vision. You focus on what you lack instead of recognizing what you carry. Inside you are gifts that have not fully unfolded yet, strengths that are still maturing, compassion that has deepened because of your own struggles. You do not see the full picture of yourself the way I do. There are things ahead that require exactly your personality, your history, your resilience, not someone else's, yours. The lessons you have learned uniquely position you for what is coming. The very struggles you wish you had avoided have shaped you into someone capable of understanding and helping others in ways you could not have before. So stop measuring your journey by someone else's clock. My beloved child, lift your eyes from comparison and return them to me. Anchor your worth in my love, not in visible milestones. You are not in a race. You are in a relationship with the one who guides you step by step. Your story is unfolding with intention. You are not forgotten. You are not late. You are not second choice. You are still chosen. My beloved child, there are pieces of your past that still try to follow you. You have moved forward in many ways. You have grown. You have learned. You have changed. And yet, sometimes an old memory surfaces without warning. A regret, a mistake, a season you wish had never happened. It arrives quietly, but it carries weight, as if trying to remind you of who you used to be. I want you to hear me clearly. Your past does not have authority over your future. You revisit moments and replay them in your mind. You think about what you could have said differently, what you should have chosen instead. You imagine alternate endings, and in those quiet reflections, shame sometimes creeps in, whispering that you are defined by those chapters. But my beloved child, I do not hold your past over your head. When you bring your regrets to me, I do not respond with condemnation. I respond with compassion. I see the version of you that made those choices. I understand the fear, the confusion, the immaturity, the pain you were carrying at the time. I do not expect perfection from a heart that was still learning. Imagine carrying a heavy bag filled with stones. Each stone represents a regret. At first, you barely notice the weight. But over time, as you keep adding more, the burden becomes exhausting. You grow tired not only from moving forward, but from dragging the past behind you. My beloved child, you were never meant to carry that bag forever. Forgiveness is not a distant concept. It is a gift I have already extended. But sometimes you struggle to accept it for yourself. You forgive others more easily than you forgive your own mistakes. You hold yourself to a harsher standard than I ever have. Release the stones. You may fear that letting go means minimizing what happened. It does not. It means trusting that I am greater than your failures. It means believing that my grace is stronger than your regrets. It means allowing healing to replace self-punishment. There are lessons in your past. Yes. Wisdom gained. Awareness sharpened. Growth developed. Those things can remain. But the shame does not have to stay with them. My beloved child, you are not the same person you were back then. Time, reflection, and my guidance have shaped you. Why continue to judge yourself as though you have not grown? Why cling to an old version of yourself when I see who you are becoming? You sometimes replay memories because you want closure. You want reassurance that everything will still be okay despite what happened. Let me give you that reassurance now. I am able to redeem every chapter. Nothing is beyond my restoration. Even the moments you wish had never occurred have woven strength into your character. Even the mistakes you regret most have deepened your empathy. Even the seasons you feel embarrassed by have positioned you to understand others without judgment. Let the past inform you, but do not let it imprison you. My beloved child, place those old regrets into my hands. Picture yourself physically releasing them. You do not need to revisit them to grow. You do not need to punish yourself to prove you have learned. Freedom begins with release. I am not standing behind you, pointing at your failures. I am standing beside you, guiding you forward. My eyes are not fixed on who you were. They are fixed on who you are becoming. Step into the present without dragging yesterday behind you. Walk forward lighter. Walk forward forgiven. Walk forward knowing that your story did not end in your worst moment. It continues in grace. My beloved child, you often want to understand everything before you move forward. You want clarity before commitment. You want answers before action. You want assurance before trust. And when life does not provide full explanations, your heart grows restless. You ask me why. You ask me how. You ask me when. These questions are not wrong. I am not offended by your desire to understand. I created your mind. I know your need for reason and structure. But there are seasons when I will not give you the full picture all at once. Not because I am withholding, but because trust grows in steps. Imagine walking through a dark path at night with only a small lantern in your hand. The lantern does not illuminate the entire road. It does not show you every turn, every hill, every detail ahead. It simply reveals the next few steps. If you refused to walk until the whole path was visible, you would remain frozen in place. My beloved child, I am your light, and often I will show you just enough for the next step. You want to know how everything will unfold. You want guarantees that your efforts will succeed. You want certainty that your relationships will remain stable. You want proof that your risks will pay off. But if I revealed every detail of your future, you would not need faith. You would not need dependence. You would not need relationship. Faith is not blind wandering. It is walking with me even when the road curves beyond your sight. There are times when I answer your prayers immediately and clearly, and there are times when my response feels like silence. In those quieter moments, I am not ignoring you. I am strengthening you. I am teaching you to rely not on visible evidence, but on my character. Have I not been faithful before? Look back at the chapters you once questioned. There were decisions you feared making. There were uncertainties that kept you awake. Yet step by step, you moved forward. And eventually, clarity came. Doors opened. Lessons became clear. What once confused you began to make sense. Trust is built on memory. When you remember how I carried you through past uncertainties, it becomes easier to walk through present ones. My track record in your life is evidence of my care. My beloved child, you are not walking blind. You are walking guided. You may not see the entire map, but I do. I see the intersections where certain people will enter your story. I see the detours that will protect you from unseen harm. I see the timing that aligns with growth inside you. When you insist on full understanding before obedience, you delay your own progress. But when you trust me with partial visibility, you discover that I am reliable. This does not mean you will never feel unsure. It means you choose to move forward despite uncertainty. It means you take the next small step, even if the rest of the journey is still hidden. My beloved child, let go of the pressure to have everything figured out. You are not meant to control every detail. You are meant to walk with me. Lean into my guidance. Listen for my quiet direction. Take the next step in front of you without demanding to see the entire road. Understanding will come in time. But for now, trust is enough. And I am more than worthy of your trust. My beloved child, you sometimes underestimate the power of small steps. You look at the mountain in front of you and feel overwhelmed. The goal seems distant. The change you desire feels too large. The healing you long for seems too deep. And because the full transformation appears so far away, you become discouraged before you even begin. But I do not measure your progress in leaps. I measure it in faithfulness. A mountain is not climbed in a single stride. It is climbed step by step. Each movement may feel insignificant on its own. One foot forward, then another. The distance covered in a single step may seem small compared to the height of the summit. Yet without those small steps, the summit would remain unreachable. My beloved child, do not despise small beginnings. The quiet decision to get up and try again matters. The choice to speak kindly when you feel irritated matters. The discipline of praying even when your emotions feel distant matters. The effort to forgive little by little matters. These are not minor acts. They are building blocks. You sometimes compare your small progress to someone else's visible breakthrough. You see dramatic change in others and wonder why your growth feels slow. But what you call slow, I call steady. And steady growth is strong growth. Consider a tree growing in a field. On the first day, there is no visible trunk. On the second day, there is no shade. For months, it may look fragile and unimpressive. But deep beneath the soil, roots are spreading. The tree is establishing stability long before it becomes impressive. My beloved child, your daily obedience is forming roots. Every time you choose patience instead of anger, you are strengthening your character. Every time you choose integrity over convenience, you are deepening your foundation. Every time you choose to trust me even when results are unseen, you are growing stronger. You may not feel dramatic change overnight, but transformation rarely announces itself loudly. It happens quietly, consistently, faithfully. You sometimes believe that if you cannot do something perfectly, there is no point in doing it at all. That mindset keeps you frozen. But I am not asking for perfection. I'm asking for willingness. One small act of courage today is enough. If you feel stuck in healing, start with one honest conversation. If you feel overwhelmed by your goals, start with one simple task. If your faith feels weak, begin with one quiet moment of gratitude. These small actions are seeds, and seeds, when planted consistently, produce harvest. My beloved child, do not measure your life only by big milestones. Celebrate small victories. Celebrate the days you resisted old habits. Celebrate the moments you responded differently than you would have a year ago. Celebrate the progress that others may not even notice. I see it all. You are growing in ways that will only become obvious later. And when you look back, you will realize that the transformation did not come from one dramatic moment. It came from many small, faithful steps. A mountain in front of you is not meant to intimidate you. It is meant to invite you upward. And you do not need to reach the top today. You only need to take the next step. My beloved child, I walk beside you in every small effort. I strengthen you in every quiet attempt. I am not disappointed by gradual growth. I am pleased by persistent faith. Keep moving. Keep choosing what is right, even in small ways. Keep showing up. The steps may feel modest now, but they are leading you somewhere meaningful. Small steps, taken consistently, will carry you farther than you imagine. And I am with you in every one of them. My beloved child, there is something I need you to release today. The belief that you must earn my love. Somewhere along the way, you learn to measure your worth by performance, by how well you succeed, by how consistent you are, by how strong you appear. When you accomplish something, you feel momentarily valuable. When you fall short, you question your place. But my love for you is not a reward for achievement. You were loved before you succeeded. You were loved before you understood right from wrong. You were loved before you ever tried to impress anyone. My love began long before your performance, and it will not end when your performance falters. You live in a world that attaches value to productivity. If you work hard, you are praised. If you perform well, you are celebrated. If you meet expectations, you are affirmed. And while effort is meaningful, it has slowly convinced you that love must also be earned. My beloved child, my love is not transactional. It does not increase when you behave perfectly. It does not decrease when you struggle. It is constant, steady, unmoving. You cannot surprise me into loving you more, and you cannot disappoint me into loving you less. Yet I see how hard you try. You strive to be the dependable one, a mature one, the one who holds everything together. You push yourself to meet standards that even you sometimes find exhausting. And when you fall short, you are quick to criticize yourself. You replay your mistakes. You tell yourself you should have known better. I do not speak to you the way you speak to yourself. Imagine a child learning to walk. The child stumbles, falls, wobbles, aches uncertain step. The Father does not withdraw affection because the steps are clumsy. He celebrates the effort. He reaches out his hand again and again. He delights not in perfection, but in growth. My beloved child, I delight in you, not just in your accomplishments, not just in your strengths, but in your heart, in your desire to try, in your willingness to keep moving forward even when you feel unsure. You are enough because I made you. Let that truth settle into the places where insecurity lingers. You do not have to outperform others to deserve love. You do not have to prove your usefulness to be valued. You do not have to hide your weakness to remain accepted. There will be days when you succeed and days when you struggle. Days when your faith feels strong and days when it feels fragile. None of those fluctuations change my commitment to you. My beloved child, rest in this acceptance. Rest from striving to impress me. Rest from trying to secure what has already been given. Rest from the fear that one mistake will disqualify you. When you live from a place of secure love, your actions become freer. You serve not to earn approval, but because you are already approved. You grow not to secure belonging, but because you already belong. You are not on probation with me. Even when you stumble, I remain near. Even when you doubt, I remain faithful. Even when you question yourself, I remain certain about you. My love is not fragile. It does not break under pressure. It does not fade with time. It does not fluctuate with your performance. My beloved child, breathe in this truth. You are fully loved, right now, as you are. Not as a future improved version, not as a perfected version, as you are. And from that secure place of love, you will find the strength to continue growing, not out of fear, but out of freedom. My beloved child, there are wounds inside you that you rarely speak about. Some of them are old. They trace back to words spoken years ago. Moments when you felt rejected. Times when trust was broken. Experiences that shaped the way you now guard your heart. You have learned to function around these wounds. You had adapted. You have become strong in spite of them. But strength is not the same as healing. You have become skilled at hiding what hurts. You know how to change the subject when conversations drift too close. You know how to laugh when something touches a tender memory. You know how to reassure others even when you are the one who needs reassurance. My beloved child, you do not have to pretend with me. I see the layers you built to protect yourself. I understand why you built them. They were shields. They helped you survive seasons that felt overwhelming. But what once protected you may now be limiting you. Imagine carrying a splinter beneath the skin. At first, you ignore it. You tell yourself it is small. You convince yourself it will fade. But over time, it irritates the surrounding area. It becomes sensitive, and even light pressure causes discomfort. Healing does not come from pretending the splinter is not there. It comes from gently removing it. I do not heal you roughly. I do not force open old memories. I work patiently. I bring light into dark corners slowly, with care. When you allow me into your hidden pain, I do not judge you for it. I sit with you in it. Some of your wounds created beliefs about yourself that are not true. You began to think you were not worthy of consistent love. You assumed you had to overperform to stay accepted. You decided that vulnerability was too risky. Those beliefs may have formed from real pain, but they are not your permanent truth. My beloved child, I am healing what you hide. You may fear that if you fully face certain memories, the emotions will overwhelm you. But you will not face them alone. I am not asking you to relive trauma for the sake of suffering. I am inviting you to allow restoration. Healing is often layered. It does not always happen in one dramatic moment. It unfolds step by step. You may feel progress one week and feel fragile the next. That does not mean you are failing. It means your heart is being gently restored. You do not have to be embarrassed by your scars. Scars tell a story of survival. They testify that you endured. They show that what tried to break you did not succeed in destroying you. And as I heal you, those scars will no longer ache the way they once did. They will become reminders of resilience rather than sources of pain. My beloved child, you do not need to carry hidden wounds in silence. Bring them to me in prayer. Speak honestly about what still hurts. Write it down if you must. Acknowledge it without shame. I am not overwhelmed by your emotions. There is freedom on the other side of honesty. The more you allow me to heal you, the less power your past holds over your present. You will begin to respond differently. You will find yourself less triggered by old patterns. You will feel a quiet steadiness replacing reactive fear. You are not broken beyond repair. You are being restored with intention. My beloved child, trust the gentle pace of healing. Do not rush it. Do not compare it. Do not measure it by someone else's timeline. I am working within you, layer by layer, restoring what was bruised, strengthening what was weakened, and reminding you that you are whole in my love. My beloved child, the valley you are walking through is not your final destination. There are seasons when life feels lower than you expected. Energy is reduced. Joy feels distant. Motivation comes in waves instead of certainty. You look around and see towering mountains in the distance, but where you stand feels like a dip in the landscape, quiet and shadowed. Valleys can feel confining. The walls on either side seem high. The sunlight appears limited. You may wonder how you arrived here. You may question whether you made a wrong turn. You may fear that this low place defines your future. But listen to me carefully. Valleys are passages, not permanent homes. Imagine a traveler crossing a vast land. To reach the next mountain peak, the traveler must descend first. The valley is not a mistake. It is part of the terrain. It offers water. It offers shade. It offers space for reflection before the next ascent. My beloved child, you are passing through, not settling down. The valley has lessons to teach you. It slows you down. It invites you to examine what truly matters. It reveals what you rely on when external excitement fades. In the valley, distractions grow quiet. And in that quiet, my voice becomes clearer. You sometimes associate valleys with failure, but growth often deepens there. Roots stretch further in low ground. Character strengthens when circumstances are not impressive. Endurance forms when applause is absent. I walk with you in the valley. Notice that I do not send you ahead alone. I do not watch from a distant mountain while you struggle below. I descend with you. I stay beside you. Every step you take through uncertainty, I take with you. There are moments in the valley when fear tries to return. You think, what if I never climb again? You imagine being stuck. You look at others who seem to be celebrating on higher ground and feel left behind. But elevation is not the only sign of progress. Sometimes I use valleys to prepare you for heights you could not sustain before. Yet in muscles driven who resisted, your spirits driven who chund. The resilience you are building now will support you later. My beloved child, do not rush through this season in frustration. Let it shape you. Let it deepen your trust. Let it refine your priorities. Valleys often remove illusions and leave you with clarity. You may not see the upward path yet, but it is there. And when you begin to climb again, you will do so with greater wisdom. You will carry less pride. You will hold gratitude more tightly. You will appreciate the view in ways you could not before. The valley does not mean I have abandoned you. It means I am guiding you through terrain that strengthens you. Look around carefully. Even here, there are signs of my care. There are small provisions, unexpected encouragement, quiet moments of peace. These are reminders that you are not alone in this low place. My beloved child, lift your eyes. The valley floor is not your final address. It is a stretch of road leading you somewhere higher. Keep walking. Keep trusting. Keep listening. The climb will come. And when it does, you will not look back at the valley with resentment. You will see it as a sacred stretch of your journey where your strength was formed and your faith was refined. You are not stuck. You are moving through. And I am with you every step of the way. My beloved child, I see how long you have been in survival mode. You learned to focus on getting through the day. You trained your mind to handle what was urgent. You prioritized responsibilities. You managed expectations. And somewhere along the way, joy quietly stepped to the side. You did not lose your ability to feel happiness. You simply became accustomed to carrying weight. Laughter felt lighter than your circumstances allowed. Celebration felt distant. Even rest sometimes felt unfamiliar. But survival is not your permanent assignment. There was a time when joy came more easily. You remember it. Moments when you laughed without overthinking. Times when you looked forward to what was ahead. You may think that version of you is gone, replaced by someone more cautious and guarded. My beloved child, that joy is not lost. It is waiting. Imagine a garden after a long winter. The ground appears bare. The trees look lifeless. Cold winds have passed through repeatedly. If someone judged the garden only by what they see in winter, they might conclude that life has ended there. But beneath the surface, roots are still alive. Spring does not arrive by force. It arrives gradually. A small bud here, a hint of green there, a softer breeze replacing harsh wind. The transformation is subtle at first, all is unnoticeable. But day by day, life returns. My beloved child, I am restoring your joy in the same gentle way. You may not wake up tomorrow suddenly overflowing with excitement, but you will begin to notice small shifts, a moment of gratitude that feels genuine, a conversation that makes you smile without effort, a sense of lightness that surprises you. Joy does not always come in loud celebration. Sometimes it comes in quiet contentment, in steady peace, in the absence of constant tension. You have carried seriousness for a long time. You have been responsible, thoughtful, careful. Those qualities are not wrong, but you were never meant to live without delight. I am breathing life back into the parts of you that felt numb. When you choose to notice small blessings, joy strengthens. When you allow yourself to rest without guilt, joy returns. When you trust me with outcomes instead of obsessing over control, joy grows. You do not have to earn joy. You only have to receive it. My beloved child, do not feel guilty when happiness begins to surface again. Sometimes you fear that joy means ignoring past pain. But joy does not erase your story. It redeems it. It proves that hardship did not have the final word. There will be days ahead when you laugh freely again, when your smile is not forced, when you look at your life and feel gratitude instead of exhaustion. You will not always be in survival mode. I am restoring balance inside you. The heaviness you carried will not define you forever. The seriousness that protected you will not dominate your spirit. There is light ahead. There is color returning to your landscape. Pay attention to the small signs of renewal. They are evidence of my work. My beloved child, you are allowed to enjoy your life. You are allowed to feel hopeful again. You are allowed to anticipate good things. Winter has its purpose, but it does not last forever. Joy is rising quietly within you, and in time, it will bloom fully. And when it does, you will realize that even through the hardest seasons, I was preserving the life inside you, waiting for the right moment to let it flourish again. My beloved child, you have been measuring time with fear. You look at the calendar and feel pressure. You count the years and wonder if you are running behind. You set quiet deadlines in your mind for when certain things should happen. And when those timelines pass without visible change, anxiety begins to rise. You ask yourself, why is this taking so long? You worry, what if it never happens? You fear, what if I have missed my window? But listen to me carefully. I am not governed by your clock. Time to you feels urgent. It feels linear and limited. You see days slipping by and assume opportunity is fading. But I see beyond the calendar. I see seasons. I see preparation. I see alignment taking place in ways that cannot be rushed. Imagine a farmer planting seeds. The farmer does not dig them up every day to check if they are growing. The farmer understands that growth follows a rhythm. There is planting. There is waiting. There is watering. There is sunlight. And then, in due time, there is harvest. My beloved child, you are in a season that has rhythm, even if you cannot see it. You sometimes believe that if something has not happened yet, it means it never will. But delay is not denial. Waiting is not rejection. Timing is not punishment. There are pieces moving into place around you that you do not yet see. Conversations aligning. Hearts being prepared. Circumstances shifting quietly. I am never late. I am intentional. You feel behind because you compare your timeline to others. But your journey is not a race. It is a relationship with me. And I am leading you at the pace that builds strength without breaking you. If certain blessings had arrived earlier, you may not have had the capacity to sustain them. If certain doors had opened before you were ready, they might have overwhelmed you. My timing protects you as much as it provides for you. My beloved child, breathe. Release the pressure to force outcomes. Release the fear that you are falling behind. Release the assumption that your best days are tied to a specific age or deadline. What is meant for you cannot be stolen by time. Even when years pass, my promises do not expire. What I have spoken over your life remains alive. You may not see the fruit yet, but the roots are deepening. You may not see the breakthrough yet, but preparation is happening. Trust my pace. When you try to rush what I am carefully building, you create unnecessary stress. But when you surrender your timeline to me, peace begins to return. You can focus on the step in front of you instead of obsessing over the finish line. My beloved child, I have not forgotten what you are waiting for. I have not overlooked your silent hopes. I have not ignored your repeated prayers. I am working in the unseen. There will come a moment when what feels delayed will arrive in perfect alignment. And when it does, you will see why the timing mattered. You will see how the waiting shaped you. You will understand why rushing would have harmed you. Do not measure your life by fear-driven deadlines. Measure it by faithfulness, by growth, by the quiet strength forming within you. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not out of time. You are exactly where you need to be for this season, and I am guiding you into the next one with precision and care. My beloved child, there are battles around you that you cannot see. Not every struggle is visible. Not every challenge announces itself clearly. Some pressures feel mysterious. Some resistance seems to rise without explanation. You may sense tension in your spirit without fully understanding its source. But listen to me calmly. You are not unprotected. Just because you cannot see what I am doing does not mean I am inactive. There are moments when I am shielding you from outcomes you never even knew were possible. There are conversations I redirect. There are dangers I prevent. There are doors I close quietly for your safety. You often imagine protection as something dramatic, a sudden rescue, a visible miracle. But much of my protection is subtle. It happens in small redirections, in delays that frustrate you at first, in interruptions that feel inconvenient. My beloved child, some of your disappointments were deliverances. There were paths you wished to walk that would have drained you deeply. There were connections you longed for that would have weakened your peace. There were opportunities that looked promising but carried hidden cost. I saw what you could not. Imagine a parent walking with a child through a crowded place. The child may reach towards something shiny and attractive, unaware of the danger nearby. The parent gently pulls the child back, sometimes without explanation. The child may not understand the restriction in the moment, but the parent acts from a wider view. I act from a wider view. You do not fight alone. Even when you feel weary, I am sustaining you. Even when obstacles appear repeatedly, I am strengthening your endurance. Even when you feel misunderstood, I am guarding your heart from bitterness. There are forces in life that try to discourage you. They whisper that you are not capable. They suggest that giving up would be easier. They magnify small setbacks into overwhelming defeat. But those voices do not have final authority. My beloved child, I am your defender. You do not need to respond to every criticism. You do not need to prove yourself to every doubter. You do not need to fight every battle with your own strength. Sometimes the strongest move is to remain steady and let me work on your behalf. When anxiety rises without clear cause, come to me. When you feel drained for reasons you cannot explain, rest in me. When opposition seems persistent, remember that resistance often appears before breakthrough. You are surrounded by care more than you realize. Protection does not always mean the absence of challenge. It means the presence of guidance through it. It means boundaries set around you. It means grace covering you when you feel exposed. My beloved child, you are defended. Even now, as you move through your days, there are unseen supports holding you upright. There are outcomes I am adjusting quietly. There are influences I am limiting for your good. You do not have to live in fear of hidden threats. You do not have to anticipate disaster around every corner. You are not walking into the future unguarded. Rest in my covering. When you release the need to control everything, you allow my protection to bring you peace. Trust that I see what you cannot. Trust that I act even when you do not notice. You are not fragile. You are fortified. And while challenges may still arise, they will not overwhelm you beyond my care. Walk forward with confidence. You are not exposed. You are not alone in the fight. You are watched over, sustained, and defended with love. My beloved child, you are stronger than you think. You often focus on what still feels fragile inside you. You notice your doubts. You see your moments of hesitation. You feel the ache of old wounds and assume they mean you are weak. But strength is not the absence of feeling. is the ability to keep moving even when feelings are heavy. Look at what you have endured. There were seasons you thought would break you, conversations that shook your confidence, losses that felt unbearable, responsibility that seemed beyond your capacity. And yet, you are still standing. You may not feel triumphant, but you are resilient. Pressure hath been shaping you. Consider how a piece of metal is forged. It is placed in intense heat. It is hammered and refined. The process looks harsh from the outside, but without the pressure and fire, the metal will remain fragile and unformed. The strength comes because of the refining, not in spite of it. My beloved child, the pressures you have faced have not been pointless. Each challenge has stretched your capacity. Each disappointment has deepened your empathy. Each delay has strengthened your patience. You are not the same person you were a few years ago. You carry more wisdom now, more discernment, more depth. Sometimes you long for easier days, and there is nothing wrong with that desire. But do not forget what the hard days have produced in you. You have learned to pray more honestly. You have learned to listen more carefully. You have learned to value peace over applause. That is growth. You may not see dramatic change in the mirror, but your inner world is not the same. The way you respond to conflict has shifted. The way you process disappointment has matured. The way you recover from setbacks has strengthened. My beloved child, you are becoming steady. There was a time when certain words would have crushed you completely. Now, they may still hurt, but they no longer define you. There was a time when uncertainty would have paralyzed you. Now you move forward even while unsure. That is strength forming quietly. Do not mistake tenderness for weakness. You can be compassionate and strong. You can be gentle and resilient. You can feel deeply and still remain anchored. Strength is not loud. It does not always announce itself with bold declarations. Sometimes strength looks like showing up again, trying again, trusting again. You have done that more times than you realize. My beloved child, I see the endurance within you. I see the courage it takes for you to continue believing when circumstances are not ideal. I see the discipline it takes for you to stay kind when you feel misunderstood. You are not fragile glass, ready to shatter at the slightest touch. You are being shaped into something durable. And there will come a day when you look back at this season and marvel at how far you have come. You will see how the challenges you once feared actually prepared you. You will notice how your confidence no longer depends on perfect outcomes. The strength I am building in you is not temporary. It will carry you into future responsibilities. It will support you in future blessings. It will anchor you when new storms arise. My beloved child, do not underestimate yourself. You are stronger today than you were yesterday. And tomorrow, you will be stronger still. Keep walking. Keep trusting. Keep growing. The refining process is shaping you into someone capable, grounded, and resilient. And I am with you in every moment of it. My beloved child, there is something in your hands that you have been gripping too tightly. It may be a plan, a relationship, an outcome, a dream you have carefully shaped in your mind. You hold it firmly because you care deeply. You believe that if you loosen your grip, it might slip away. You fear that surrender means losing control, and losing control feels unsafe. But I want you to open your hands. Control can feel like security. When you manage every detail, anticipate every possibility, and rehearse every outcome, you convince yourself that you are protecting your future. Yet the tighter you grip, the more tension you carry. Your shoulders grow heavy. Your thoughts grow restless. your peace grows fragile. My beloved child, surrender is not weakness, it is trust. Imagine a child clutching a small stone because it is the only thing in reach. The child refuses to let go, even when the father stands nearby holding something far greater. As long as the child's hand is closed around the stone, it cannot receive the gift waiting to be placed inside it. What you cling to may not be wrong, but your attachment to controlling it may be limiting what I want to give you. You fear that if you release your expectations, everything will fall apart. But your tight grip is not what sustains your life. I am. Your future does not depend on your constant managing. It rests in my guidance. There are outcomes you have rehearsed repeatedly in your mind. You imagine conversations unfolding in specific ways. You picture certain doors opening exactly as you designed them. And when reality shifts from your expectation, disappointment follows. But what if my design is better than your version? When you surrender, you are not giving up your dreams. You are entrusting them to me. You are saying, I care about this deeply, but I trust you more than I trust my own understanding. My beloved child, open your hands. Release the pressure to force things into place. Release the need to predict every step. Release the fear that if you do not manage everything, it will collapse. When your hands are open, you experience peace. Not because you know the outcome, but because you trust the one holding it. Surrender does not mean passivity. You still act with wisdom. You still make decisions. You still pursue what is good. But you do so without desperation, without panic, without fear driving your choices. There is freedom in open hands. When you let go of rigid expectations, you make space for surprise. When you release control, you allow grace to move. When you stop gripping tightly, your heart softens. My beloved child, you do not have to carry the weight of every possibility. You do not have to guarantee results. You are not responsible for orchestrating the entire future. I am. Trust me with the outcomes you cannot secure. Trust me with the relationships you cannot control. Trust me with the dreams you cannot force into existence. Open your hands and feel the difference. The tension will ease. The anxiety will quiet. The burden will lift. And as you release what you were holding so tightly, you will discover that I am not taking away your joy. I am protecting it. I am refining it. I am preparing something that aligns more fully with who you are becoming. My beloved child, surrender is not loss. It is alignment. Open your hands. I am ready to place peace within them. My beloved child, there is light within you that you have not fully recognized. You tend to focus on your flaws, your unfinished growth, your lingering doubts. You see the areas where you are still learning, still healing, still becoming. But you rarely pause to see the light that already shines from your life. I placed that light inside you intentionally. It is in your compassion when someone else is hurting. It is in your patience when you choose understanding over anger. It is in your quiet encouragement that lifts someone's spirit. It is in your integrity when you choose what is right even when it is inconvenient. You may call these small traits. I call them radiance. Imagine a dark room where even the smallest candle makes a difference. The candle does not need to be a blazing fire to change the atmosphere. Its steady glow is enough to shift the space from shadow to clarity. My beloved child, your presence carries that kind of impact. There are people who have felt comfort because of you, even if they never told you directly. There are moments when your words soften someone's anxiety. There are times when your example gave someone else courage to continue. You underestimate the influence of your life because you measure it by grand achievements. But light is not measured by volume. It is measured by effect. When you withdraw because you feel unworthy, the world becomes dimmer in ways you do not see. When you silence your kindness out of fear of rejection, someone loses the warmth you were meant to share. I did not create you to hide. You sometimes dim your light because you fear standing out. You fear criticism. You fear misunderstanding. So you shrink your voice. You downplay your gifts. You hold back ideas that could bless others. But my beloved child, light is not meant to be concealed. This does not mean you must be loud or dramatic. Your light does not require performance. It requires authenticity. It shines when you are simply aligned with who I created you to be. The world does not need you to imitate someone else's glow. It needs the specific warmth you carry. Your story, your experiences, your perspective, these are all part of the brightness I have placed within you. There will be moments when insecurity tries to overshadow your confidence. You may hear whispers that you are not talented enough, not wise enough, not strong enough. But those whispers are not my voice. My voice calls you capable. My voice calls you valuable. My voice calls you chosen. My beloved child, do not wait until you feel completely perfect before allowing your light to shine. Growth and impact can coexist. You can still be healing and still be helpful. You can still be learning and still be a source of strength for others. There is purpose woven into your presence. As you walk through your days, carry yourself with quiet assurance. You are not insignificant. You are not invisible. You are not accidental. I placed you where you are for a reason. When you embrace the light within you, you begin to walk differently. You speak with more clarity. You act with more intention. You stop apologizing for existing. Shine without fear, not for applause, not for validation, but because that is what you were created to do. My beloved child, your light is needed, and when you allow it to shine freely, you will discover that it illuminates your own path as well as the paths of those around you. My beloved child, you often expect me to speak in thunder. You look for dramatic signs, clear, undeniable instructions, loud confirmations that remove all doubt. You imagine that if I truly wanted to guide you, my voice would shake the ground beneath you and leave no room for uncertainty. But most of the time, I speak in whispers. I speak in the quiet thought that gently redirects you, in the subtle nudge that urges patience instead of reaction, in the calm restraint that stops you from saying something you might regret. My voice does not compete with chaos. It invites stillness, and stillness can feel uncomfortable to you. You live in a world filled with noise, notifications, opinions, urgent demands, constant comparison. Your mind rarely rests. Your schedule rarely slows. And in all of that movement, my gentle guidance can be easy to miss. My beloved child, slow down. Imagine standing beside a quiet lake at dawn. The surface is smooth. The air is still. If a small stone drops into the water, the ripples are clear and visible. But if the lake were already disturbed by wind and waves, the same small ripple would disappear unnoticed. Your spirit is like that lake. When you allow constant distraction, my quiet guidance blends into the background. But when you create space for stillness, you begin to notice my direction more clearly. You do not need dramatic miracles to know I am with you. Often, my presence is felt in peace that does not make logical sense, in clarity that arrives without explanation, in wisdom that surfaces when you pause long enough to listen. There are times when you ask me for guidance, but you immediately fill the silence with your own thoughts. You search frantically for answers instead of resting in trust. You assume that if I do not speak loudly, I am not speaking at all. But I am always near. My beloved child, learn to value the quiet. The world may celebrate noise, but growth often happens in silence. Roots deepen beneath the soil without announcement. Hearts heal in private moments of reflection. Decisions are strengthened in calm consideration. When you quiet your fears, you hear me more clearly. When you release urgency, you sense my pace. When you sit with me without demanding immediate answers, you discover that I have been guiding you all along. You do not need to chase my voice. You only need to make room for it. Begin with small moments, a few minutes without distraction, a slow breath, a sincere prayer, an honest reflection. These are not insignificant. They are doorways to clarity. My beloved child, I am not distant. I am present in the ordinary, in the quiet commute, in the early morning light, in the stillness before sleep. Do not overlook subtle guidance because it lacks drama. My whispers are steady. My direction is consistent. My peace is reliable. You will not always receive instant clarity, but you will receive enough light for the next step. Lean into stillness. Invite quiet into your routine. Trust that my voice, though gentle, is firm. And as you practice listening, you will begin to recognize my guidance more easily. You will feel familiar, comforting. Turn. My beloved child, I am speaking. Slow down enough to hear me. My beloved child, the prayers you whispered and the ones you cried out loud are not forgotten. There are requests you placed before me months ago, even years ago. Some were specific and detailed. Others were simply sighs of longing. You asked for direction, for healing, for restoration, for opportunity. And when answers did not arrive as quickly as you hoped, you began to wonder if those prayers had faded into silence. They have not. I remember every word. I remember the posture of your heart when you spoke them. I remember the mixture of faith and uncertainty in your voice. And I have been working in ways you could not see. You sometimes interpret delay as absence, but preparation often happens long before arrival. Imagine a craftsman building something intricate behind closed doors. From the outside, nothing appears to be happening. The room is quiet. The door is shut. But inside, careful shaping is taking place. Measurements are checked. Details are refined. Timing is considered. My beloved child, I am preparing what you asked for. There are aspects of your character that needed strengthening before certain doors could open. There are conversations that needed to unfold in other people's lives before alignment could happen. There are lessons you needed to learn so that when the answer arrives, you will recognize its value. If I gave you everything the moment you asked, you might not have been ready to sustain it. Blessings without preparation can become burdens. Opportunities without maturity can overwhelm. I love you too much to place you in situations that would break you. What you asked for is still coming. It may not look exactly like your original imagination. It may arrive through a path you did not predict. But the heart of what you longed for is being shaped. There are signs already forming, even if they seem small. A new perspective, a subtle shift in confidence, an unexpected conversation. These are not random. They are pieces aligning. My beloved child, do not let discouragement convince you that your prayers were wasted. Every sincere request you placed in my hands matters. Even when I respond differently than you expected, I am responding with intention. Trust that I am weaving together circumstances you cannot yet trace. Trust that I am guiding you toward something meaningful. Trust that my timing is precise. When the answer begins to unfold, it will not feel forced. It will feel aligned. You will sense peace rather than panic. You will recognize that the waiting shaped you. Continue to pray. Continue to hope. Continue to believe. Waiting does not mean forgetting. Delay does not mean denial. Silence does not mean rejection. My beloved child, I am faithful to complete what I begin. The dreams you placed in my hands are not abandoned projects. They are under construction. The healing you asked for is not postponed indefinitely. It is progressing beneath the surface. The opportunities you hoped for are not erased. They are being refined. Keep your heart open. Stay attentive. Stay patient. What you asked for is not lost in time. It is being prepared with care. And when it arrives, you will see that the waiting was not empty. It was purposeful. It was protective. It was forming you into someone ready to receive what you prayed for. Hold on. The answer is closer than you think. My beloved child, there is something I want you to hear clearly, without hesitation and without doubt. I am proud of you. You rarely speak to yourself that way. You often focus on what still needs improvement. You notice where you fell short. You replay conversations you wish had gone better. You set higher standards before you have even celebrated progress. But I see more than your unfinished goals. I see your perseverance. You have endured seasons that tested your patience. You have faced moments that stretched your faith. You have carried responsibilities that demanded strength you did not know you had. And through it all, you did not walk away from growth. There were days when simply getting out of bed required courage. There were decisions you made quietly that honored integrity over ease. There were times you chose forgiveness when bitterness felt justified. My beloved child, that matters. You sometimes believe that pride must be reserved for extraordinary achievements. But I am proud of your consistency, proud of your effort, proud of the way you continue trying even when results are not immediate. Growth is not always dramatic. Sometimes it looks like responding differently than you would have a year ago. Sometimes it looks like remaining calm in a situation that once would have overwhelmed you. Sometimes it looks like seeking wisdom instead of reacting impulsively. You have grown. You may not see it clearly because you live inside your own process. But I see the difference. I see how your perspective has matured. I see how your compassion has deepened. I see how your confidence is becoming quieter and more grounded. You survived what once felt impossible. There were nights you doubted your resilience. There were moments you wondered if you would break under pressure. But you are still here. Stronger, wiser, more anchored than before. My beloved child, I delight in your becoming. You do not need applause from the world to validate your progress. You do not need constant affirmation from others to confirm your growth. I see you. I affirm you. There is humility in you that did not exist before. There is discernment forming where confusion once lingered. There is steadiness replacing old anxiety. Be gentle with yourself. Do not rush to the next goal without acknowledging how far you have come. Do not criticize your pace when you are still moving forward. Do not minimize your courage simply because it feels ordinary to you. You are evolving in ways that will support you in seasons ahead. The patience you are developing will sustain future responsibilities. The empathy you are cultivating will strengthen future relationships. The discipline you are practicing will prepare you for greater trust. My beloved child, allow yourself to feel proud without arrogance. Recognize your effort without self-importance. Honor your progress without comparing it to someone else's timeline. I am proud not because you are flawless, but because you are faithful. You continue to show up. You continue to seek growth. You continue to trust me even when circumstances are unclear. That is strength. That is courage. That is maturity forming. Lift your head. Stand a little taller. Not in pride over others, but in quiet confidence in who you are becoming. My beloved child, I am pleased with your journey. And as you move forward, remember that you do not walk alone in your progress. I am with you, celebrating every step. My beloved child, hold these words close. There will be days when your confidence feels strong and steady. Days when peace rests easily on your shoulders. But there will also be moments when doubt tries to return, when old fears whisper again, when circumstances feel uncertain. In those moments, I want you to remember what I have spoken to you here. Return to my voice, not because you are weak, but because you are human. You will not always feel the same level of clarity. Emotions rise and fall. People surprise you. But my truth does not shift with your mood or your surroundings. Keep this message near your heart. When anxiety begins to build, remind yourself that I am guiding you step by step. When comparison tries to diminish your worth, remember that you are chosen uniquely. When regret attempts to resurface, recall that you are forgiven and restored. When loneliness creeps in, remember that you are never alone. You do not need to memorize every word. You only need to remember the foundation. You are loved. You are guided. You are protected, and you are becoming stronger. There will be crossroads ahead, decisions that require discernment, opportunities that ask for courage, moments that test your patience. In those times, do not rely solely on your emotions. Lean into the steady truth I have placed within you. My beloved child, my voice is not limited to this moment. I will continue to speak through peace, through wisdom, through gentle conviction, through quiet encouragement. As you walk through your days, remain attentive, remain open, remain willing to listen. When you feel overwhelmed, pause, breathe. Invite my presence into the middle of your thoughts. You will find that clarity often returns when you slow down enough to hear me. You are not meant to revisit this message out of fear, but out of reassurance. Think of it as an anchor. An anchor does not prevent waves from forming. It simply keeps the ship from drifting too far when they do. My beloved child, you are anchored in my love. Life will continue to unfold in seasons. Some will be bright and full of celebration. Others will require endurance and patience. But none of them will separate you from my care. Carry this awareness with you into tomorrow. When new challenges arise, remember that you have already been strengthened. When unexpected blessings appear, receive them with gratitude instead of suspicion. You are not walking blindly. You are walking guided. There will be times when you feel tempted to doubt everything you have learned. In those moments, speak truth aloud. Remind yourself of the growth you have experienced. Recall the times you thought you would not make it and yet you did. My beloved child, you are not who you once were, and you are not yet who you will become. You are in the beautiful process of transformation. Keep moving forward with quiet confidence. Keep trusting even when clarity is partial. Keep your heart open to my leading. And whenever you feel unsure, return to this truth. I am with you. I am for you. I am shaping your story with intention. Hold that close. Let it steady you. Let it strengthen you. You are deeply loved. and you are never beyond my reach. My beloved child, as we come to the close of this message, I want you to pause and feel what has been spoken over you. You were not SLUCHAT here. You were called into this moment. From the very beginning, I reminded you that my words were for you. I saw your hesitation. I saw your hidden fears. I saw the weight you carried and the questions you held in silence. And I answered not with condemnation, but with comfort. You have been reminded that you are not forgotten, that your waiting is not wasted, that your past does not disqualify you, that your small steps matter, that your tears were seen, that your strength is real, that your light is needed. You have learned again that valleys are temporary, that storms do not last forever, that silence does not mean absence, that delay does not mean denial, that surrender is not loss, that healing is unfolding. I am proud of you. My beloved child, carry this truth forward. You are guided, protected, and deeply loved. Not because you are perfect, but because you are mine. Not because you have earned it, but because my love is constant. When fear returns, remember my voice. When doubt whispers, remember my promises. When you feel weak, remember that I am your strength. When you feel alone, remember that I walk beside you. Lift your head now. Breathe deeply. The future before you is not empty or chaotic. It is held in my hands, and those hands are steady. And now, as this message has strengthened your heart, I call you into something greater than yourself. When you choose to support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link placed in the description and shown in the QR code, you are not funding a channel. You are helping my word reach another weary soul. I have said that when you sow generously, you will reap generously, and this seed you plant becomes light in someone else's darkness. I am inviting you now. Let your gratitude become action. Do not delay the obedience you feel stirring in your spirit. What you release today becomes oil that keeps this message flowing to hearts that are still waiting to hear me. I see every offering, and I bless every giver with provision and peace. As you pour out, I will pour back into you in ways you cannot measure. Step forward and give as an act of faith, not obligation. Let your seed speak for generations. Act now. My beloved child, I seal this message over your life with peace. May your heart be steady. May your mind be calm. May your steps be guided. May your soul rest securely in my love. Amen.